Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the questions box on your screen and we'll get those answered at the end. Kyle, I will now turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. This is a part of our webinar series, and we try to keep these to 20 minutes, so hopefully it's informative and doesn't take up a lot of time. And we will stay at the end for as many questions as we have. We'll make sure we answer them all. This ongoing series, and really appreciate Saul Cohen joining us today. He's the product specialist for Cargas. Really, Saul came up with the original business plan and for Cargas Energy, and I was working in an office in Pennsylvania next to him of a marketer as he was kind of hammering away at this, and it's really been exciting to see the development they've made and what a big impact they make on the industry and how many efficiencies they bring to their clients. And that's really our goal, is to the partnership is to bring efficiencies and value to our clients. And what we do with Cargas is we meet once a month with Cargas, and that allows us to review where we are and what we've done and what we're going to do moving forward. It's been incremental, so it's really the integration has started, and over time it's developed, and it will continue to develop. And that development is most specifically based on marketer input. So if you have great ideas, we want to hear them. We haven't thought of everything for sure, and there's a lot more that we can do. So if there's stuff that you want to see, or you have ideas, I encourage you to talk to us, put in a ticket with Cargas, talk to P3. We're going to keep making this better and add more value for our clients. So Saul's has a slide deck that he's going to step through, talk a little bit about the history and where we've been, and then we can talk about some new functionality that's just rolled out and what is pending, and open it up for questions. So thank you so much, Saul, for joining us today.
Thank you, Kyle, and everybody there at P3. You guys are always great to work with, and we certainly relish our partner relationships. They're just, it's not just industry stuff. We become good friends and keep in touch. So we think that's really a value add to the industry. So yeah, as Kyle said, I've been with Cargas a little over 19 years. We, first had Wilson Oil and Propane outside of Philadelphia. It was our first customer using the Cargas Energy solution. We took a slow growth approach to it, and now we have 300 customers all across the United States, Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Maine, Florida, Texas, Arizona, everywhere in between pretty much. So yeah, as Kyle said, we get to meet regularly on a monthly basis to kind of walk through all of the things that are happening in the industry and how we can potentially improve them and definitely make it more efficient. So we'll give you a little bit of the history here of P3 and Cargas, dating back to the Boston Environmental days when we first started with the tank shore program. And then we'll kind of walk through where we're at currently and talk about some of the future components that we are building in as we speak. And then, as we said, alluded to, yeah, if there's any questions, Jane will monitor them in the chat, and hopefully we get to them. And if not, we'll certainly follow up. Do you want to give some history here, Kyle?
Yeah, I think, really, we had clients, marketers approach us. It's based on marketer input. And really the first thing that we did was what we call phase one of the integration. And it's really seeding P3. Well, actually before that it was tank shore, with our tank inspection. So that's really where it started. And then with P3, we started with seeding the P3 database with Cargas account numbers, names, and addresses. So this basically means if when you start up, you don't have to, all of that information is going to stream right in through Cargas. So you're in the field or in the office, you don't have to type someone's name or worry about capitalization or misspelling. You're going to enter the account number, select the customer, and then we're also able to, that by building that phase one correctly, that gave us the platform to do all the stuff that we're doing today. And building that right was really a critical first step for everything. So that works really well. People, we can see what happens if folks in the field are inputting customer names and addresses themselves. Sometimes it doesn't look as great as we'd like it to be. So we don't have to worry about that with phase one of the integration. And then quickly after that, we rolled out phase two, which was available in 2022.07. And I don't know, Saul, if you have Saul's got you can see the image if you go to reports and then P3 reports. That's going to seamlessly move the user from Cargas to P3 to view all of the details they've collected in P3, all the documentation, all of the potential flagging that we offer, all of any sort of work that you've done with the safety documentation. You'd be able to see seamlessly. And we do have pretty good video of that as well, so that might be something that we could share after with people as well.
Yeah, and so now just to piggyback on what Kyle said, and we can go to our support site at the end here after we're done the little presentation and kind of walk through the initial setup. Once a mutual customer of Cargas, Energy, and P3 signs up, there's some setup stuff, and then as Kyle mentioned, the data will get synced, right? So all your customer, all your address info will get synced over, and then you're able to have your technicians in the field access the customer information and capture all of that through the P3 mobile app. And then we provided that link to the report so you can see it in the back office. And in phase three that we just completed here in our 2024.08 release. So if you are currently a customer and you haven't got updated yet this summer or before the heating season, certainly would recommend that you work with your account manager and our support team and schedule your update. And so what that allows you to do now in our attachment section, and again, a lot of this is based on feedback from our existing customers, is in the attachment section, you'll be able to see the photos or document links, the safety components that are captured from the P3 in Cargas Energy. And I'll show you that here now. Anything to add on that, Kyle?
No, I think, just making the user experience a little bit more streamlined, create some efficiencies. I think, that again, it's based on client input. So we had, someone really wanted this and, they let us know, and that's what you should do. And I would recommend if you want something, be very specific, not just, oh, can you pass information back? What exactly do you want and where do you want it to go? Be really specific. That's really helpful to us if you can do that.
Yeah, so in a customer screen now in Cargas Energy, what you're able to see is the attachment section will now be populated by the P3 integration. And so whether it be a safety document, and I've already logged in to my P3 account. If you hadn't logged in, it would prompt you to log in. So here's, again, an example of a safety document. And then here is an example of a photo that was taken. So again, we're trying to provide that interoperability where these documents and attachments, we don't have to download them manually. Again, it's transparent and you're able to go in and see that information. So yeah, any of your customers in Cargas Energy, even older ones, so prior to the integration, if there is images or again photos or documents that are captured, the integration will go back and provide that. So here's obviously a picture of a tank that needs to be painted pretty significantly. So again, that's what's just been released now in the Cargas Energy 2024.08 release. And then the next component that we're working into, on the next phase, so it's still kind of in the design component as well. So we go all through the phases of the development life cycle. We'll design, we'll spec it out, have a use case built for it, and then build the functionality. QA typically goes into our beta program first, depending on what it is. And then from beta, that will get rolled out into the main release. If it's not a mission critical thing, sometimes it won't necessarily need to go into beta and it'll go right in. But if it warrants further testing, we have about 24 or so customers in our beta program that are doing that. So the next enhancement then will be like the mobile app connection. So anybody who's familiar with our mobile service app, and I'll pull it up here in another second, but when you create service work order tasks in Cargas Energy, some of those can be specific types of tasks where we can launch them into either a built-in form, and now the idea is future it'll be a form that will take you directly to the P3 mobile app. So you see the interruption of service app, and it'll prompt the technician for that. So just to show you that in our mobile service app, this is what works on the service technician tablet in the field. I'm just running it on my Windows computer here. And what you'll see is, again, that launch task, and it's not working yet, but the goal here is once I were to click that link, it would take you to the P3 mobile app. So that interoperability is really the goal of what we're trying to accomplish here. So all that data, all the necessary data flows back and forth. Any thoughts or comments there, Kyle?
No, I think it's incremental. I think we've gotten a tremendous amount of feedback. I think we kind of hear from less people than we used to. There used to be more people screaming for things, so I just you don't need to scream, but just make sure that let us know if you want specific things, and please keep that in front of us and be specific. And there's a lot more that we can do to make this easier for our clients and to create efficiencies. So we're pumped. I think we've come so far in not a lot of time, really, in my opinion. But there's a lot more that we could do, and we both want to provide a really good value for marketers. So keep the communication lines open, please.
Yeah, and it's kind of a good segue into our Cargas Energy support site. For those that are familiar, you can go to our support.cargasenergy.com. You can type in something like P3 and search for that, and then you will be able to come back with a list of things. A lot of our stuff and data we'll have is like our how-to guide, our P3 integration, and then here's some of the steps and the setup components. As always, our support team is here and available to you, plus your customer success manager. So all of them are available to you in terms of how things work. So in our site, when you search the P3, again, you'll be able to see community comments and things like that. So from our customers and from us in terms of specific how-to guides and the documentation that's required. I think here's the video that you were mentioning, Kyle, right?
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, these are the videos and the guides that are available to you. So, so yeah, we'd like to, as Kyle said, like to keep this short and sweet. I don't know if we have any questions or anything else you want to follow up with, Kyle?
I think we can open it up to questions. Yeah, we save everyone a few minutes in their day if we don't have any, but we'll kind of give it a minute and see if anyone has anything they want to talk about.
So we did get one question, and it's, will documents completed before this recent update show on the customer's account in Cargas?
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to with any of the documents that are populated before in Cargas Energy. Those should be able to show up here. We'll confirm that once the setup and the integration takes place, but yeah, that is the goal.
Great. And then the next question is, how often do you recommend your clients upgrade to the latest version of Cargas?
That is an excellent question. We are publishing updates every month, but we really never plan for customers to get updated that often. Our goal is to have a pretty quick development life cycle, and we want to make them available as soon as possible. So the updates come out monthly. We internalize the debate whether it should be every month or every 2 months or every 3 months, but so we're publishing them monthly now. But the ideal scenario, I think that most of our customers are hit on, is likely get 2 updates a year. So typically in the spring following the winter season, and then now here in the fall before the heating season. So all of the updates are all encompassing. So if you got an update in April 2024 and now September, October is rolling around, all of the updates that have happened since then are all inclusive. So they'll have all those updates. So I would say at minimum 1, typically I think 2 to potentially 3, and we'll schedule it for you. We'll do all the work. Some of the updates are a little bit more intrusive than others and might require some testing or some things like that, depending on the features that are there. All of that you will typically see in our announcements in our newsletter, right? So you can see here where the 2024.08 is available and all the things. So here's the update on the feed on the P3. And you can always go to our release and feature list or the release notes list as well, where it has all of that info. I know sometimes customers will complain and get inundated with information. Sometimes it's too much and not always reading it. But we'd rather have it be too much than too little. So short answer to my long-winded answer is probably 2 updates a year.
So great. All right. I think that is all of the questions. Yeah, I think some of these are a little bit more specific, so we can follow up with people as needed here. But that is all the questions for now.
Great. Well, Saul, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If there are questions we didn't answer, we'll make sure we get back to you, and we'll keep making this thing better for everyone.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, everybody there.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Take care.